The dropship cut through the emerald clouds of Vardos 6 in silence, its engines dampened to avoid detection. Captain Ilara Voss sat alone near the ramp, helmet resting in her hands, heartbeat steady despite the mission's weight. The hull trembled as atmospheric friction bled red across the viewing screen. To her right lay her rifle case, sleek, matte black, engraved with the white sigil of the Earth Defense Initiative. Inside waited the quantum wind rifle, the only weapon ever to pierce Dominion phase cloaks with precision. 10 minutes to insertion. The pilot whispered through the comm, even he sounded as though the jungle might be listening. Ilara didn't respond. Her thoughts moved through calculations, wind drift, gravitational pull, humidity ratios, the curvature of Vardo's SIXS horizon. Numbers steadied her more than words ever could. Opposite her, Sergeant Malik adjusted his shoulder armor. "You think the rumors are true?" he asked. "Invisible soldiers? Whole villages erased?" Ilara finally looked up. "They're not rumors." The memory of Orion outposts burned behind her eyes, flashes of thermal signatures vanishing one by one, the quiet thud of bodies falling before anyone saw a target. She was the only survivor. After that, she trained harder, learned to hear breaths through static, to shoot where logic said something should be, even if unseen. The dropship's landing gear extended with a muted hiss. The ramp lowered into thick mist, heavy with the scent of moss and metal. Towering trees stretched overhead like cathedral pillars, their leaves broad and silver-veined, dripping with bioluminescent dew. Commander Rourke's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Team Alpha, deploy. Objective, recon the Dominion mining facility and confirm beryllium weaponization." Ilara slung her rifle, its weight familiar across her back. Malik and 3 others followed. Their boots pressed into spongy ground, muffled by layers of fallen leaves. Insects pulsed with cyan light between roots as thick as walls. Malik whispered, "Creepy paradise." "Stay focused," Ilara said. They advanced deeper. Strange vines coiled like serpents across branches. Somewhere distant, a creature gave a low, echoing call. Above the canopy, Vardos's twin moons hovered pale and silent. Half an hour passed without incident. Then Private Sato raised a fist. "Contact, heat signature. 200 meters west." Ilara crouched and deployed her scope. Through digital overlay, she saw nothing, just foliage and fog. Yet her HUD flickered with a brief distortion, a shimmer in the air, gone in less than a breath. "Pull back," she ordered. "Could be wildlife," Malik offered. "No. They're watching." Her pulse remained even, but her voice tightened. A faint click echoed, like glass tapping stone. Then Sato collapsed, throat opened by an invisible blade. "Ambush!" Malik yelled. Muzzle flashes lit the jungle. Bullets tore through leaves, but the enemy remained unseen. Ilara didn't fire wildly. Instead, she closed her eyes, inhaled once, listened. She heard a foot shift over damp bark to her left. She turned, aimed at empty space, and pulled the trigger. A Dominion warrior appeared mid-fall, cloak flickering as a hole opened in his chest. His armor shimmered like liquid mercury before fading to dull bronze. Black eyes stared in surprise. "Move!" Ilara dragged Malik behind a fallen trunk. 2 more soldiers vanished in bursts of plasma. Private Harris screamed just before he vanished into foliage, silenced mid-cry. Malik raised his rifle, hands shaking. "We can't see them." "You don't need to see," Ilara said quietly. "You need to think." She fired again, one clean shot. Another body dropped from nowhere. Static filled her calm. "Alpha Team, report." Ilara pressed her transmitter. "Under attack by Dominion Shadow Corps. Sato and Harris are down. Continuing mission." "Evac?" Rourke asked. "No," she said. "If we leave, no one will know what's coming." A long pause, then. "Understood. Godspeed." Only Ilara and Malik remained. She checked Sato's body, lifeless, eyes still wide. No time for burial. She retrieved his data chip and slid it into her belt. "Malik, fall back to the dropship. she ordered. Transmit this footage to command. What about you? His voice trembled but held. I'll finish the mission. He swallowed, nodded once, and ran. Elara moved the opposite direction, deeper into the trees. The jungle thickened, swallowing sound. Her boots pressed silently into moss. Sweat slid down her spine, but her breathing stayed measured. She became part of the forest, slow, deliberate, watching for disturbances in air and light. Twice she detected faint hums of cloaks powering nearby, but they didn't approach. After an hour, the foliage opened to reveal the Dominion facility, a sprawling structure of obsidian metal carved into a cliffside. Green motors pulsed beneath the surface like veins. Mining drills tunneled into rock, carrying beryllium ore toward armored convoys. She lay prone atop a ridge, unlatched her rifle, and extended its bipod. Her scope calibrated atmospheric density, wind trajectory, mineral interference. A soft chime confirmed zero error. Through the lens, she watched cloaked guards move like ghosts around the compound perimeter. Their outlines flickered faintly when their phase fields brushed moisture. She adjusted her sight toward the command balcony. There, Commander Zerith Kale, silver armor reflecting pale moonlight, crest of his rank etched across his chest. He spoke to an officer, movements elegant, confident. Elara marked the target but didn't fire. Not yet. Too many variables. Instead, she activated her recorder, documenting visuals and audio. Suddenly, the air behind her shifted. A low voice, cold and close. Human. She froze. You are far from home, it continued. And very alone. Cloak distortion shimmered beside her. She didn't turn her head. Finger edged toward her trigger. I have studied your kind, the voice said. You break easily. Elara exhaled slowly. Try me. She fired without looking. A crack of energy. A body thudded beside her, cloak burned through the chest. She whispered to the corpse. We don't break. We sharpen. Then she slid back into shadow, eyes fixed on the compound, preparing for the war the galaxy didn't yet know had already begun. Clouds drifted low over Vardos 6 as dawn began to bleed faint silver across the jungle. Captain Elara Voss lay hidden beneath a tangle of broad leaves, her rifle pressed against her shoulder, pulse steady. Nights here were long and alive, whispering winds, clicking insects, and the hum of unseen machines deep underground. But this morning felt different. The air carried purpose. She scanned the Dominion compound through her scope. Patrol routes had shifted. More cloak sentries prowled the perimeter, their distortions trailing like ripples in warm water. They were searching for her. That meant one thing: the corpse she left behind had been found. Elara activated her wrist display. Malik's signal flickered weakly across the map. He was moving toward the extraction point, but his vitals showed stress. She hesitated only a second. Mission first, she reminded herself, but she sent a short, encrypted transmission anyway. Voss. Malik. Report. Crackling static, then his hushed reply. Almost clear, but something's tracking me. Stay silent. Stay low. Keep moving. No answer followed, but she saw his signal speed up. Elara refocused on the compound. The target, Commander Zerith Kale, no longer stood on the balcony. Smart. He would relocate to the central command spire. Harder shot. Stronger shields. She needed a new angle. With slow precision, she packed her rifle and crawled backward, letting moss and soil mask her trail. Each movement was calculated. She knew the Shadow Corps watched for broken twigs, scent shifts, disturbed ferns. She offered them none. After an hour of silent progress, she reached an overlook above a river. Mist curled off the water's surface, glowing weakly from bioluminescent algae. A crashed Dominion probe lay half-submerged near the bank, hull scorched, antenna twisted. She approached cautiously. Inside, the system still flickered with dying power. She connected her visor's interface to its panel and extracted a fragment of its navigation log. Coordinates pulsed across her display, a hidden uplink tower deeper in the jungle. Dominion rendezvous point. Potential access to encrypted communications. If she could intercept their transmission protocols, she wouldn't just kill their commander. She'd expose their war plan to Earth Command. A twig snapped behind her. She spun, rifle raised. Malik stood at the tree-line, breathing hard, armor scorched. Blood streaked down his left arm. "You're supposed to be gone," she said quietly. "Couldn't make it," he rasped. "They shot the dropship. I think I lost them, but—" Something shimmered behind him. "Down!" Ilara fired. A cloaked soldier convulsed midair, falling lifeless into the river. Another distortion flanked right. Ilara dropped to a knee and fired again. Silence returned. Malik exhaled shakily. "You always this calm when we're dying?" "We're not dying." She tossed him a canister. "Coagulant patch. Use it." He pressed it against the wound. The bleeding slowed. "What now?" "We move. You stay close. No sound unless necessary." They followed the riverbank, shadows shifting above as mist thinned in rising light. The jungle breathed around them, thick with moisture and quiet menace. Malik whispered, "Why does Command just send 2 of us?" "Because 2 are harder to track than 20. He smirked weakly. "You're a terrible motivator." "Not here to motivate you." 2 kilometers later, they reached higher ground. The uplink tower loomed ahead, a spire of black alloy hidden beneath colossal vines. Faint blue symbols pulsed along its surface. Ilara motioned Malik to cover the rear. She approached and accessed a maintenance panel. Dominion glyphs projected in midair, foreign, fluid, constantly shifting. Her translator implant struggled to keep up. She inserted a bypass spike. Metallic whispers echoed from above, voices speaking in low Vraxan dialect. Ilara froze. Words translated across her visor. "The human female is near. Kale demands she be taken alive." Malik's eyes widened. "They know. Hold position." Footsteps, soft but close. Ilara climbed onto a thick branch overlooking the tower's entrance. Her rifle aligned with the doorway. 2 cloaked soldiers emerged, faint distortions against the green. "Breathe. Calculate. Fire." One fell without a sound. The second turned, cloaking warping as it rushed forward. Malik aimed shakily but missed. Ilara holstered her rifle, drew her sidearm, and shot the soldier through the throat. Cloak shorted out. The alien dropped to its knees, gurgling, bright blue blood soaking the soil. Ilara finished the upload from the tower. Data streams of Dominion fleet movements, invasion timetables, Earth assault patterns. She compressed the files into her transmitter. "I've got it," she said. "Proof. Routes. Everything." "And Kale?" Malik asked. "He's mine." Suddenly, a sharp hiss sliced the air. A thin spike struck Malik's shoulder, injecting black fluid. He gasped. Ilara grabbed him before he collapsed. His eyes unfocused. Above them, a calm voice echoed through a concealed speaker. "Impressive. You see us when others only die afraid." Ilara's grip tightened on her pistol. Commander Zirith Kale stepped from the shadows, no cloak hiding him now. Silver armor caught the dim light. His pale eyes studied her like a specimen. "You are not like the rest of your kind," he said. "You fight without panic. You kill without hesitation. Admirable for a lesser species." Malik groaned, struggling to breathe. Ilara stood between him and Kale. "You came to exterminate my people," she said. Kale inclined his head. "To prevent chaos. Humanity expands without logic. You breed war." Ilara's voice remained steady. "You think you're unseen. You're not." Kale's expression barely shifted, amusement for a heartbeat. She raised her pistol. He was gone. Cloak engaged. Soundless. Ilara pushed Malik behind a root and whispered, "Stay alive." Then she vanished into the trees, rifle in hand, hunting the most invisible enemy in the galaxy. Ilara moved through the trees like a shadow carved from resolve. Malik lay hidden beneath thick roots, barely conscious, poison slowing his pulse. His breaths were shallow but steady. She pressed a hand to his chest, just once. "I'll come back," she whispered. No reply came, only the faint rise and fall of his ribcage. She stood and vanished into the mist. The jungle had changed. It felt aware. Leaves hung still. Insects silenced their rhythm. Dominion patrols hunted her, phase cloaks weaving faint distortions between trunks. But they weren't the threat she focused on. Only one name mattered now, Zirith Kale. She followed faint electromagnetic trails in the air, residue from his cloak generator. Her visor translated readings into silver lines threading forward. They led toward the cliffside fortress, deeper into territory no human had walked. At the compound's edge, she halted. Spotlights swept mechanical arcs across steel platforms. Transport ships loaded Xerillium crates. The invasion fleet was preparing to depart. If Kale signaled the assault, Earth's defenses would collapse before reacting. Elara opened her rifle case. The quantum wind rifle gleamed in muted silver. She assembled it piece by piece. Chamber. Barrel. Memory core. Each motion quiet, deliberate. She checked the chamber. One round was all she needed. She ascended a ridge overlooking the command spire. The wind shifted, cool and sharp, carrying traces of ozone and burning fuel. She lay prone, camouflaged beneath broken ferns, and calibrated her scope. Distance, 2,340 meters. Atmospheric density, high moisture. Minimal crosswind. Heart rate, 58. Through the lens, the balcony came into focus. Commander Zirith Kale stood alone, mask removed, pale features calm. His eyes scanned the horizon, as though he knew she was watching. He spoke aloud, voice amplified by unseen speakers. "Captain Voss, you stand alone against an empire." She didn't respond. "You could run," he continued. "Live. Earth will fall just the same." Elara steadied her breathing. His words were dust against stone. Kale's gaze turned slightly, almost respectful. "Then show me why your kind refuses to kneel." She aligned her sights with the narrow gap beneath his collarbone, where armor ended and flesh began. The shot required perfection. Gravity drop, humidity, atmospheric refraction, all accounted for in fractions of a second. Her finger tightened. Then, a whisper of movement. A cloaked soldier crept toward her position, only meters away. She didn't look. Her left hand drew her knife silently. As the distortion neared, she slashed upward. The blade cut the alien's throat cleanly. Blue blood sprayed, cloak flickered, silent collapse. She never looked away from the scope. One breath. One heartbeat. Trigger pulled. The rifle recoiled softly. The round sliced through mist, wind, and distance, a silent comet. Kale's eyes widened a fraction before impact. The bullet struck true. Energy ripped through armor and bone. He staggered once, then fell to his knees, cloak generator sparking at his waist. Around the compound, alarms erupted in shrill panic. Elara watched him place a hand to the wound, blue blood pooling beneath silver armor. He whispered, voice faint over calms. "So, this is human precision." Then he fell forward, motionless. Elara exhaled, slow, controlled. No triumph. Only necessity. But it wasn't over. Her visor showed Dominion officers scrambling toward the command console. If they transmitted the invasion code manually, Kale's death meant nothing. She dismantled the rifle, slung it over her back, and sprinted downhill. Gunfire erupted from guard towers. Plasma bolts scorched bark around her. She slid behind a boulder, returned fire with her sidearm, killing 2 sentries before they reacted. Smoke billowed from generators. Sirens howled like wounded metal. She reached a service tunnel carved into the cliff. Inside, lights flickered crimson. Sirens echoed through narrow corridors. She moved with calm purpose, eliminating 2 more guards in silence. At the command chamber, heavy doors sealed shut. She placed a thermal charge against the lock. 3 seconds, she whispered. The blast cracked the alloy. She kicked through smoke and drew her pistol. 3 Dominion officers turned, shocked. One reached for the console. She shot all 3 before the alarm finished its next cycle. She approached the terminal. Dominion symbols rippled across the screen, invasion sequence still incomplete. She inserted her data spike, overriding their command matrix. A soft chime confirmed transmission to Earth Command. Locations of fleets, invasion routes, weaknesses in Dominion supply lines. Mission data sent. Commander eliminated. Invasion delayed. She pressed her comm. Alara to command. Kale is dead. Data uploaded. Initiate counteroffensive. General Rourke's voice came through, choked with disbelief. Copy. Recover if possible. You've done more than expected. She left without answering. Outside, ships lifted into the sky, retreating in disarray without leadership. Their formation broke like scattered birds. Alara ran back into the jungle. Malik still breathed, barely. She injected an antitoxin vial into his neck. His eyes fluttered open weakly. You finished it? He asked. Yes. He managed a faint grin. Told you we're hard to kill. A distant rumble shook the canopy, Earth's fleet entering orbit. Blue thrusters streaked across dawn's first light. Alara looked toward the rising ships, then back to her wounded comrade. For the first time, Malik whispered, they'll see us coming. Alara nodded. And they'll know we don't hide. Above them, the sky brightened, no longer indifferent, but waiting. The war was far from over. But Earth had fired the first true shot. And the galaxy had heard it.